You guys are coming in first. Nice work. You're slow, Brett. What's up, boy? Okay, this is going to go fast like usual here. What is up, everyone? I just felt like coming on here today and just chatting a bit because I'm doing nothing and I haven't really talking. There we go. I'm good already. I haven't really talked to anyone in person for a couple days because my wife is gone and I'm at home. So I was like, hey, let's just go talk to the fine folks on YouTube. So how's everybody doing? Kind of let me know where you're coming in from. That will also sort of tell us where or what kind of weather you're having. And if you'd like to enjoy a little drink with me, I'm having a New England style IPA right now from one of my favorite breweries here locally. They're also finally putting it out in a can, so we have this nice little can here. It's kind of cool. So it's snowy here today, and I'm seeing some more people say snowy where you are. Texas 70s, lucky. Chicago snowy. Yeah. So I'm just kind of waiting out the season like everybody else, getting ready for hopefully an early spring, but you never know. It's about this time of year where I get pretty sick of winter, although I love winter. And if you guys watched my videos earlier in the winter, I really enjoy snow. I would prefer it to be more snowy so we can actually have snow activities here, but it doesn't usually happen. I think we've had about 10 inches of snow, maybe somewhere around there. So I would prefer more, and then you could actually do some fun stuff, but just kind of sitting around and waiting. So I just thought I'd come on here and hang out with you guys and see what you're up to on a Friday. So Lawn Tips wants to know, how far off is spring? Probably April-ish. I think last year I was mowing on April 3rd or 4th. Let's see. Here's a controversial topic. What do you think about grass colorant? Well, I think if you're using that to color your grass during your normal part of your season, then maybe it's kind of weird, but during the southern part of or down south in the other parts of the year, I guess it would kind of be something you could do to at least have some color there. I don't know how messy it is, though. I've never used it. It seems to me like it would kind of be kind of messy. So got some North Dakota folks in here. I won't even try to claim it's as cold here because I know it's not. Let's see what else. We got Wisconsin. I'm kind of scrolling up here. New England, Florida. And, where are the Vermont folks at? Yeah, they're probably not here. Am I using my smoker in the winter? I have been when it's been around the 30s. Well, I guess it was maybe a little colder and I was still using it. and it works fine. I mean, it might burn through a little bit more of the actual pellets there, but it still works. How early can you mow cool season? Should it grow to a certain length before cutting? Honestly, last year I cut mine at a half an inch on my first cut. So if that's any indication, then I don't think it matters too much. I usually try to not cut it before it's going to get a hard freeze again. So I sort of look at the forecast and say, if it's going to be looking like there's a hard freeze coming, I probably wouldn't cut it very low. But this year I mowed in January and then it got cold again. So I'm not too worried about it. I have a couple fun things possibly coming that I can't announce yet just because they're not finalized, but hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. I have a couple cool things I think personally that would be fun. So I'm working on those and hopefully I can put that out soon. What kind of preamp are you using? Okay, I got nothing on this audio other than a cheap Behringer mixer that I've been using for probably 15 years. And this is a mic. The mic's just going straight into that. And then it's going into my camera actually, and then going into a little sort of capture card thing that's a USB. Techie nerd stuff, but it does kind of make the streams cool. What type of grass should I plant for a cool season lawn? Well, just really depends where you're at and what you can get away with there. So kind of a hard question to answer without knowing where you are. Are you bored? No more January mowing. Yeah, yep, no more. It's over. I've been sitting inside. Real Low Dad is here. Are you surviving the rains down there? Mm-hmm. Doo-doo. Ryan, do your lawn products have any tariffs for delivery to Niagara Falls, Canada? I don't know. I know that they're not selling things in Canada very easily. So it's kind of why people avoid that market as far as I know. So that would be a question you might have to ask. I'm not sure. I don't think right now anything is going into Canada, but when should I throw down pre-emergent in the Des Moines metro area? Tough to say because as you know, it can be very hard to predict our weather here, but usually May-ish. I would have to go back to my videos last year and remember when I did it, but that's probably a good time frame. Mm-hmm. Trying to look here and see. It's going so fast. I'm trying to scroll here and catch up with everybody. Matt Martin is a master at this, and so if you guys haven't tried it, it's not as easy as he makes it look. I have not tried Hybrix. Nope. Maybe someday. Sure, let's see. Delaware, do you ever have moles tearing up your yard? Yes. And I wish I had a good sort of something I could tell you there that would fix it, but I haven't found anything yet, other than I believe that I stabbed one time when I saw it moving in the ground, and that's the only way I've ever figured out. I've tried some of the poisons, traps, all that stuff, and they just seem to laugh at me. So, yeah, I don't know. I had one that last fall that was around the garden area, and I think it's still there. We're gonna find out in spring. Do you think the Wild will make the playoffs this year? I don't know. I was watching the game last night. There's a game tonight too, and they are typical where they look really good, and then the next game they look really bad. And so, if they play the way they can, then it's possible. But I still don't see them as one of the top teams by any means. So probably not. Have I ever tried a California trimmer? I've seen one. I haven't tried it in person, but I hope to try a bunch of different reel mowers this year. Maybe down south. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. So I hope to, and hopefully I'll be doing a video on all that. Chicago Burbs, what's up? Okay, I have chipmunk problems. I don't think I've ever experienced that. Wild or embarrassing, yeah. Most of the time they are. Connor, what the crap? What are you doing here, pal? Any thoughts on Zoysia versus Tall Fescue? Well, I mean, obviously, warm season, cool season kind of depends on what you're more comfortable with. Me personally, I've never done too much with Zoysia, but I hope to also do a little project with that this year. So maybe I'll find out more. Richard Nettles. Hey, what's up, man? Sissy Grass rocks. Yep. Don't you have a she shed to tend to, Connor? Yeah, he does. It's not done yet, I don't think. Do you like Mopars or no? Yes, I do. Obviously, I have one, but I'm not really one of those people that's super into one brand or not. I liked the car and I liked the kind of classic look of it, so that's why I wanted one. But there's lots of cool cars out there. Real Low Dad is back. When am I going to get a Hellcat? You know, to be honest with you, I was thinking about that yesterday, and I was thinking I could definitely trade in my car for still a decent price. It only has 11,000 miles on it, but it's just too expensive. I can't spend that kind of money on those cars. I already don't drive my car the way it is. It sits in the garage because I just don't really, to be honest with you guys, it sounds crazy, but I don't like cleaning it. I like it really clean, and I don't like cleaning it when it gets really dirty. So that's kind of the deal there. This is a good question. What kind of camera do you have? What editing software? So this camera that I'm using right now is my camera from last year, and that's a Panasonic G7. I've been using that thing for all of my videos for 2 or 3 years now, and it was not an expensive camera. It's about $500. So once you learn how to use it and kind of understand it, it's good. But that thing right there, I don't know if you can see it. It's hiding in the shadows. That's my new camera. And that is a Panasonic S1H. So if you want to look up what that is, but am I still a Vikings fan? Obviously, yes. Unfortunately, sometimes. Connor wants to know, what did I have for lunch? You want to know what I had for lunch? I'm living a bachelor life right now. My wife is gone. So I had pizza rolls. That's right. Pizza rolls. Yeah, I really should get it ceramic coated. I know. I have been meaning to look into doing that. Are you planning to come to Georgia again this year? Yes. Timing on that, I don't know when, but yeah, I'm planning on doing some project stuff down there, hopefully. So yeah. Is this my first live stream? No. I did quite a few live streams last year with guests, and I prefer to do that because I'm sitting here talking to a screen and to this camera. I know you guys are out there, but it seems and feels kind of strange. So that's why I haven't done it too much. But I thought tonight I'm not doing anything, so I might as well sit and talk to you guys. I just wish I could have you guys actually on the other side talking back instead of me staring at the camera. Cabin fever? Absolutely. I have cabin fever. You can send me a Red Wings hat, but I won't wear it. I can promise you that. Connor, I think your super juice is probably better, Connor. How do you keep the swordmen from fighting each other in the shed? That's tough. They like to get after each other, that's for sure. Best store-bought crabgrass pre-emergence. I usually, before I was getting anything standalone, was getting Lesco stuff at Home Depot. Sometimes they have it standalone and sometimes they don't. New subscriber. I moved into a house with a horrible lawn. Besides watching, do you have any guides? I have a free guide that you can check out. It's actually on the simplelawnsolutions.com website. And so if you want to check that out, I've kind of made a free guide there for general lawn care stuff. And then a lot of people were asking me, when should I apply all these liquids and stuff? So I made a free guide there you can check out. Yeah, Real Low Dad says take it to a Zoom meeting. I would, but I'm not that technically gifted. I was looking into it this afternoon, and I was like, no, I don't have time for this. I just gotta get on here. How about a Toronto Maple Leafs hat? No, I will. You guys can send me any hats you want to, but I'm not going to wear my non-teams because it's just not how it works. Put a heater in your shed and do a live stream from there. Yes, I could, but I have a problem because I don't have good Wi-Fi out there. I have no idea why, but as soon as I built my little corner bench in there and I went out there, the Wi-Fi drops out in that exact spot. I kid you not. Everywhere else, it's okay, but that spot, for some reason, it's bad. And so I can't do as much stuff out there as I really wanted to. Even so, it's pretty cold out there. Am I weird for mowing my lawn in February? I don't think so. Just depends on if you can or not. If I could, I would. I can tell you that. Safety first or third? We know who asked that question. What am I doing for grubs? Last year, I used the Scott's Grub X, I believe. I think that's what it is. Connor's She Shed will have Wi-Fi. I hope so, because he's probably, whenever I go visit him, I'm expecting that he's going to make me sleep in that thing. That's how he is. He treats me so poorly all the time. So if I do go visit him, I'm expecting good things in there. I'm expecting Wi-Fi, it to be really plush for me, for sure. Hello from Sioux Falls. Hey, not very far, right there from where I grew up. So I hear there will be a game played at the Field of Dreams. My vote is for you to make sure the field's grass is premium. I would certainly love to be there for that. But I was just talking about this yesterday with someone. I have a feeling that those tickets are going to be extremely hard to come by, and or you might need to donate a kidney to get one for price. As long as there is a fridge for beer, everything else is irrelevant. Yeah, but Connor doesn't drink, so that wouldn't make a difference. Bruce, hey, from Detroit, Michigan. Hey, would you ever apply potash alone to your yard? Yes, if you had a pretty good deficiency there, and yeah, you could. Calvin, I just got your Simple Lawn Solutions package off Amazon. Can't wait to put it to use. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. If you hope you have some good luck there with that. And if you have problems, let me know of anything. I can try to help. So, yeah, he is like that without beer. Yes, that is his true self. Connor, Joey is downstairs, and I have myself encapsulated in cords here, so I can't get out. Hey, what is up to someone watching from Australia? That's cool. I like the Australians, and I had a great time hanging out with Ben this past year. So I would like to get over to Australia sometime. I'm not really a great person on flights. Like, I do okay, but up until last year, I'd only been on a plane once or twice. And then last year, I think I took like 12 trips. So it kind of got me used to it, but I don't know about flying like 20 hours. It is now an ideal time to do a soil test. Um, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad time as long as you can get a soil sample taken. If you live somewhere where it's frozen, obviously that's not going to work. But otherwise, yep. I usually do mine in the spring before I put any fertilizer down or anything. How many square feet does Simple On Solutions box cover? Well, each bottle in there covers, if you're using it hose end version, will cover 3,200 square feet. And this year I'm going to also highlight that some of you have asked me, can you use it with a backpack sprayer? Do you have to use a hose end? And you can put stuff in a backpack sprayer. So I'm going to try to highlight that a little bit this year too. You can do different measurements and it'll go different distances just depending on how strong you want it to be. Any more podcast plan with other lawn care tubers? Hopefully, maybe I can get some more done this year. What I really liked about it was honestly doing those in person. I just feel like it's better. And now, before I was going to kind of use the whole Google Hangout system, which YouTube was using, where you could kind of easily call back and forth and all that, and they got rid of that. So it makes it more difficult to do the setup that way too. But I just prefer talking to people when I'm going to do an interview and actually talk to them in person. It just feels better to me. Not that there's anything wrong with it if you don't do it that way, but it's just how I like it. Yeah, for 2 acres, there's definitely bigger bottles available, and probably the box is not going to be your way of doing that. So they make 2.5 gallons of lots of stuff if you want to go bigger. I knew someone would ask me to play a song today. I was just waiting for it. So before I came on here, I tested the microphone playing my guitar. And because of the way streaming works, they cut out a whole lot of quality to be able to stream this to you and have it actually look somewhat decent. So the guitar sounded like it's just not doable. So I can't do that. I'm fighting with the idea of picking one grass type or grass seed or to put down a blend. Thoughts? I mean, the reason that blends were created is honestly because they want you to have the best success. So in terms of different genetics with different plants, better disease resistance, all those things. So that's why most people would do a blend. Now, some of us crazies, we just prefer that there would be one look in the yard and that there's no variation there. So it's just up to you, but preferably for most people, they would probably say they would rather have a blend. And then for the crazies, they want it to look very uniform. So it's up to you. Let's see. What type of work do you do? I do my YouTube channel as my job. That's what I do. Any tips for starting a new lawn care channel? You know, there's tons of different things you could do. I think you just have to find your own little niche into the world because it's just kind of how it works. There's so many channels about everything now that have already been sort of long standing. So you just have to find something unique about what you want to share and just go for it. Consistency. And that's pretty much what I can say there. Any chance of phrase cutting this year? Looks very interesting. Honestly, I was speaking with a grad student, I believe, from Purdue about this. He's got kind of a homemade method that he was working on some research. So I might try that if I can get it sort of figured out this year. I might try that kind of on the back side of my fence line there, going down towards the creek. That area is always my quote unquote normal area, if you want, and it needs some work this year. It's kind of thatchy and needs some stuff there. So I might try that. Do you take your sissy grass to therapy? Nope, it does just fine. It's strong. I used to be employed by a sod farm. I just enjoy watching the perfectionists. You and Connor make sod farms look bad. I don't know about that, but we have the sort of all-in perspective on our little patch of the world. Let's see. Any more snow? Yep, we have snow. Got about an inch today, but like I said earlier, it's only been about maybe 10 inches this year. Okay, I lost my spot here. It just jumped on me. Did you ever work for a mowing landscaping company in the past? Other than working like a teenager mowing my yards and stuff around town, that's about all I did. I'm eating toast, was in bed 15 minutes ago. Yeah, we always do this to you, I'm sure, because Connor always does these at random times too. If I planted KBG and rye 50-50, wouldn't the KBG take over eventually because it spreads? Well, so you might be surprised to know that I think if I had to do it again, I probably would go 80-20 on bluegrass versus rye if I wanted the majority to be KBG, because I was reading some of those studies, and from my perspective here of looking at my own side yard, the rye gets itself going so much faster that it really starts to get established before the bluegrass even gets a chance to. And then it sort of ends up becoming much more rye than bluegrass. And there's definitely a difference in the look if you see it in person from the front to the side. The side has that bluegrass, like sort of thick sod look to it, but it's still much more rye than it is bluegrass. Okay. Ever thought of getting a zero turn? My yard is just too much stuff to go around. So hopefully I'm going to move to an acreage someday. That's my goal. And so then I will probably have one for sure. Is Connor the same in real life as he is on camera? Yes. Yep. He is. How long does it take you to create a video on average? Just very hard to say. I'm usually filming during the day, whatever I'm filming, and then I spend kind of a little break at night after my wife gets home from work, and then I go back to work and do all my editing kind of late night. So it just depends. I'd say editing probably 6 to 8 hours per video, sometimes more. What wax do you prefer on your Challenger? In the past I used to be really into detailing, and I had a couple things that I liked, but mainly I was using sealants instead of sort of traditional wax stuff. So there's so much good stuff out there now. Where's my wife at this weekend? She is on a little trip with our niece. Our niece is looking at some grad school stuff, so she decided to go along on a little trip. Are you going to get a look at the Swordman Edwin 2.1 this season? Yep, I'm going to get a look at it. So we'll see. Well, I'll have some more announcements about that, obviously. Can you overuse liquid aeration in a single application? It sort of would probably depend on what you're using, but I believe there's a label rate for all those products too. So yeah, I would say I wouldn't go too crazy. Pre-emergent this season, liquid or granular? I'm going to be probably doing liquid, because I've done granular in the past and I've never done a video on liquid, so I'll probably do that. But I had good luck last year with the granular. The Office or Parks and Rec? This is the Lawn Whisperer's big debate he has going on right now. I would say The Office. What type of mower do you recommend for cutting freshly planted grass once you can cut it? I like the little cheap reel mowers. That's what I've used mine for the most, but most people just don't want to get one of those or don't, they don't have one. So I've used any regular push mower in the past. Sharpen your blades and you're good to go. The Office 100%, some people say. Yeah, I haven't watched any of those shows actually in a long time. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV aside from sports. I do watch sports. So is anybody going to be watching the XFL this weekend? I'm probably going to give it a shot just because I prefer to watch football and there's more football. Is the Time Master worth it for a 5,000 square foot yard? That's a hard question. I mean, probably just not needed in that small of an area, but I like the cut better than those smaller mowers. So maybe you probably just not needed in that small of an area, but I like the cut better than those smaller mowers. So maybe you at Pebble. Yeah, I watch some golf too. Connor, The Bachelor is not better than any of those shows. You're nuts. Being from Minnesota, do you fish? If so, what type do you go for? I'm a very big fail when it comes to being a true Minnesotan in that way because I don't really do much fishing. I never really got into it too much as a kid. And I sort of think that's kind of if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But my grandpa used to take me, I went ice fishing with him a couple times, but his idea of ice fishing was actually sitting on a bucket with just a hole out in a windy, cold lake. So honestly, do your neighbors think you're nuts? Probably, but most of them just don't really pay attention to what I'm doing, or if they do, they're just like, "Oh yeah, he's doing that." It's not really a big thing. Do I play any video games? A long time ago I used to, not really anything seriously. I haven't played video games in a long, long time. Lawn Stripes, hey, what's up? So some people are saying that you are going to watch the XFL. I'm at least going to sort of check it out, like I said. But that means I need to pick a team, and I don't like picking teams because all my other teams have just been born into, so that's easy. But I'm looking for a small 30-32 zero turn. I'm not very good in the zero turn world. I've never had one. I don't really know a whole lot about them. I know that some of my family members have had the Toro ones that are more the homeowner models, and they seem to like those, but personally, I can't say for sure. Are you done with your Time Master? Are you only using reel mowers now? No. I was still mowing with the Time Master around 2 inches, and that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm planning on still using some manual reel mowers in my backyard because I like them, but I know for a fact that I'll be gone on trips this year where I'm going to have to get out a rotary mower for sure. Let's see. What time is it there? It is 6:01. What type of sand would you use for top dressing? This is a good question because it really all depends on what your soil type is already. And so it needs to be something slightly more coarse than what you already have. So most of the time that will be something like a mason type sand for most people, but I've been still on the hunt trying to find something around me that will work, and I'm still looking. Okay, let's see. Trying to find my spot here. Hey, from the UK. Hey, how do you get rid of yellowing of the grass? Well, that's tough to say too. There's a lot of factors that could be going into that. But generally, usually when you're losing color, you need some iron, but my wife knows nothing about lawn care, and even she likes to watch your videos because she likes the look of your grass. That's impressive because most people, if they're not into it, they would not care. What was the percentage KBG to ryegrass and percentage mix on the first side renovation? That was 50-50. But as I said a little earlier, it ended up being much more rye just because of how fast it gets established compared to everything else. Connor has to run. See you later. Later. How do you keep the same tone at all times during videos, even when you get excited? I'm not a very extremely excited person, I guess you would say. So it's just natural for me. What speakers are behind you? I've had those speakers. I know they're not even available anymore. I don't even remember the brand name, but I've had those since somewhere around 2004, and they're still working. Have you looked at Bewitched KBG? Yep, it's in my side yard actually. So what are your thoughts? Many people have good luck with it. I think it's one of the better types for sure. What computer do you edit on? Well, I don't know if I can. You're not gonna be able to really see it, but I got an iMac that I just bought, so I'm gonna be using that this year. But all the last couple of years have been MacBook Pro, which is what I'm using right now. How's the dogs doing? I've only seen one in the videos lately. They're doing well. Joey likes to be on camera, but he has a high royalty rate, so that's kind of where we're at with that. And Fiona she doesn't seem to like it as much, but that's how it goes. So where am I at here? Do you like Toro mower? Yeah. I've had time. I've had a Time Master since like 2013. So Final Cut Pro or Premiere, these are all camera type things here. I use Final Cut Pro. And I've just had trouble with Premiere really working well for me, so what's a good sound program to clean up bad audio? I don't know the answer to that one for sure. Kind of depends on what you want to do with it. Do I listen to any podcasts? Sometimes. I'm usually listening to some kind of music when I'm working outside, just because podcasts, I'm usually filming at the same time. So I have trouble sort of doing both things. I'm either thinking about filming and what I need to do with the camera and all that stuff, or I'm listening to music. Is your outside shed 10 by 12 or bigger? It is 14 by 15. And the reason for the 15 is just because we couldn't get an extra foot to fit in that exact space. Otherwise, obviously 14 by 16 would have been smarter. They wouldn't have to cut anything. What happened to your podcast? Still there. I just have not really had a chance to do more interviews, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep up with just the interview side on my podcast or do some other things. I don't know yet. How do I get snow to melt and my grass to grow so I can cut it? That would be, if you can figure that out right now, then you would make all of us pretty happy, that's for sure. Have you ever grown or mowed Bermuda grass? Not grown, mowed one time, which this year I hope will be a couple more times. Do you use Milo anymore? If not, why? Nope, I don't, just because I had an overabundance of phosphorus in my soil test. And so that's probably the reason why, was I was using it for so long. So I'm just not using it at this point. Mm-hmm. Okay, late to the party. How much snow do you have on the ground up there? Right now, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 inches. I would just listen to you talk about lawn care on your podcast. Yeah, that's kind of why I started in these last couple of videos doing some questions from people, and maybe I'll group some of those together and put them on a podcast. We'll see. It's hard too, because a lot of times on the videos, I'm showing visuals, and then on the podcast, I would be talking about something and people can't see it. So I'll see. My neighbor has Bermuda grass. It's taking over my lawn. Definitely will happen. You either got to put some kind of barrier in between, or it's going to end up happening. If you ever sell your house, will you add an additional 20K to the price for the perfect lawn? Well, I think that probably has to go with the neighborhood and whether or not someone would pay for that. I don't think it's going to happen here. Is some of the music on your lawn videos your own? Would you consider it? I've never put any of my own music in there so far. The reason being is that when I put out my own music long ago, years ago, it was done by a company, and then they keep track of when it gets used on YouTube or something, the whole content ID system. So if I were to do it, I would probably roundabout get the money somehow, but I'm worried that basically it would come up with a copyright notice saying that I couldn't monetize the video, and then I'm just kind of shooting myself in the foot there. So very weird to not be able to use your own music, but I would have to use something that was not released previously, probably. Time to paint that snow green. It's big in Utah. Yep. Did you make your trip to Duluth this year? Nope, I haven't yet. I wanted to, but we haven't made any trips yet. So hopefully this summer. Summer is the best time up there because it's a little bit cooler, and anywhere by the lake is awesome. How often, if ever, do you put lime on your yard? I don't, because I have a high pH. So I'm actually up above 7, trying to get it pulled down a little bit. And lime would be to raise your pH. So for those of you typically a lot of like soil in the Northeast will have pH that's lower and it needs to be raised up. How's that bluegrass doing so far this winter? Are you planning to make the rest of your lawn bluegrass or stick with rye? Well, I'd love to tell you, but it's under snow right now. So I won't know until springtime, but I'm not planning on doing the rest of it bluegrass. I am planning on kind of keeping things the way it is right now. What type of barrier to stop that Bermuda grass from taking over? This is something that I've heard, not personally seen. I don't live in the South, but I've heard that Bermuda can grow roots and start to creep as much as 2 feet deep into the ground. So usually you need a major barrier there, like dig out something and pour cement or something. It's crazy. Have you ever played any other instruments? I play piano and guitar, and that's pretty much it. I did a little bit of percussion work, but I don't play drums well. Tips for the spring season compared to fall. So this would be for cool season lawns. Um, Essentially, you just kind of don't want to go too crazy because the grass is already going to be growing a lot. That's where I'm going to be using my liquids this year. More is in the spring, kind of smaller doses. And then I usually, once the sort of big time growth of spring is over, I will usually go ahead then with an application of granular before going into the summer. Okay. Yeah, someone will know how to lower pH. Yeah, you need to use like sulfur. I'm using ammonium sulfate in my fertilizer from Granular Apps to try to help lower things. See what else I missed. Have I ever rooted for the Bears? No, no. That's not really allowed as a Vikings fan. I will say, though, for all of you out there, I would say I like the Bears better than the Packers if I had to pick. Well. Let's see if there's any other ones that I missed. I'm sure there are, but I can't find everything here. Can you use Roundup on dormant Bermuda? Yes, you can. You'll want to do some research on that actual rate. I don't remember it off the top of my head because I don't have Bermuda, but yes, people do use that to spray out some other winter weeds, and then the Bermuda is crazy stuff and it'll come back. I have not really had quackgrass issues in my yard. No, not too much. Actually, take that back. Before I did some of my renovations, I think there was a little bit in the front yard, but over time, since I've done so much work there, it's not really there anymore. Would you recommend to dethatch in the spring? I've done this before, and I probably wouldn't go too crazy on the dethatching in the spring if you're looking at the forecast and you're seeing some like summer temperatures coming anytime soon, because it does definitely need some recovery time. I did it one spring, sort of heavy, and it just never really looked quite the same during the summer. It was kind of stressed out. The lawn guardian just showed up. Well, guys, I think what I'm going to do here is go. It's about time for me to go eat something. So just wanted to hang out today and say thank you to all you guys who are watching and see if you had some questions and stuff. So that's pretty much it for today. Maybe I'll do this again soon and we'll see. It was fun. So like I said, it's a bit odd to just sit here talking to a computer screen or the camera, even though I do it on all my videos, but with you guys responding back, it's sort of a bit strange. But thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. I'll have some videos coming again soon, a couple things coming up. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video.